Hello friends, welcome to Biren's Academy. I am Pramila. Today we will going to discuss one of the another important critic or theorist from new criticism and formalism. And I have already given the introductory part. Please go through that one and you can better understand about the concept. Okay, see, first of all, before going to tell you about the important critic, that is F.R. Levis. You can see the picture here. Today I will discuss about F.R. Levis. Okay, but before that we have to understand new criticism. I've already provided the introductory part. Okay, go through that one. You can find the different points and objectives, everything there. Okay, see, in new criticism, the writers or the theorist has given more focused on the text. Okay, according to the new critic, the text is important and the biography, the background of the text is not that much of important. As we have already covered the new historicism, we can find there that they have given more importance to the historical background of the particular writer. Okay, so in that point they are saying that text is not that much of important, but the background of the author, in which state of mind he is writing and where from he is coming, that are very much important. Okay, but in new criticism we will find only about the importance of text. Okay, what is written in the text, that is only important. बुझिपार जे आमर न्यू क्रिटिसिजम बहुत फोकस करुले जे आमर टेक्स्ट को टेक्स्ट केमिति आम गोटे इम्पोर्टेंट ना कि आम गोटे राइटर बैकग्राउंड को जानिबा बुझिपार आज आम डिस्कस करवा एफआर लेविस. ओके, सी हिज टाइम पीरियड वाज 1895 to 1978. Frank Raymond Lewis was an influential British literary critic of the early mid 20th century. Okay, here the full name of F.R. Lewis was the Franz Raymond Lewis, and he was the critic, a literary critic of the early mid 20th century. Okay, try to note it down. Earlier mid 20th century. He looked at 17th century poetry in revolution. Okay, he looked at 17th century poetry in revolution, the tradition and the development in English poetry, which published on 1936. Okay, so the revolution, the tradition and the development in English poetry, which published on 1936. Okay, see, Lewis was morely attracted towards the later Victorian poetry. Okay, so try to note it down or try to remember that Lewis attracted the later 90th century, later Victorian poetry and celebrated the work of modern poets. Okay, and celebrated the work of modern poets such as T.S. Eliot, then you can see the Ezra Pound, then G.M. Hopkins, okay, and W.B. Yeats and W.B. Yeats. Okay, we will find all of them in his work, The New Beginning, in English poetry, Okay, The New Beginning in English Poetry is published on 1932. The New Beginning in English Poetry in 1932. And he was, as I have told you that Lewis attracted the late Victorian poetry and celebrated the work of modern poets such as T.S. Eliot, Ezra Pound, G.M. Hopkins, and W.B. Yeats in New Beginning in English Poetry, which published on 1932. Okay, let's move on to the next point. In the Great Tradition, the Great Tradition which published on 1948. The Great Tradition published on 1948. He put forwarded a case for moral seriousness as a criterion for great work of art. Okay, here he has put forwarded the moral seriousness. Okay, he said the moral seriousness as a criterion or a criteria for the greater work of art. Okay, he also found Scrutiny one of the most influential literary periodicals of 20th century. Okay, try to remember that Scrutiny is important most influential literary periodicals which are founded by R Levis. And he considered Jane Austen, George Eliot, Henry James, and Joseph Conrad as the greatest novelist in his work. Okay, and here R Levis is very much important in your exam point of view. Why? Because he influenced by many critics, okay, many writers, and he considered most of the important writers as the greatest novelist also. Okay, important. He has taken some of the greatest novelist, and here he has given his opinion regarding the greatest novelist. Okay, as the greatest novelist in his work, The Great Tradition. In The Great Tradition, you will get the question. In The Great Tradition, R Levis has given important to some of the novelist. Try to find out the important novelist name. Understood? तुमको क्वेश्चन आसीपे बहुत डीप क्वेश्चन आसीबो जेमती कि तुम सपोज तुमको क्वेश्चन आसीबो द ग्रेट ट्रेडिशन रे R लेविस किछि इंपोर्टेंट नॉवेलिस्ट को नहीं चंती चार्टा ऑप्शन रो हमको चूज करिया पड़िबो जे को ऑप्शन माने को इंपोर्टेंट नॉवेलिस्ट से तांगर ग्रेट ट्रेडिशन रे अछंदी जेमती कि एडी मन रखिबा हमें जेन ऑस्टिन, जॉर्ज इलियट, हेनरी जेम्स एंड जोसेफ कनराड. बुझिपार एगुड़ा होचंदी हमर इंपोर्टेंट नॉवेलिस्ट. Okay, it is very much important in your exam point of view. Try to note it down. Next, he best known as most influential work is The Common Pursuit. Okay, The Common Pursuit was published on 1952. He was best known for this work. In his Great Tradition, Lewis appreciated Austen, Eliot, and D.H. Lawrence. Okay, here in his work, in his work, The Great Tradition, he appreciated the work of Austen, Eliot, and D.H. Lawrence. Okay, so here he is told about the Jane Austen that she is the rare kind of author whose work defined the tradition retroactively, but reading Austen and discerning her influences, one can deduce the importance of novelists of the tradition who came before her. Okay? So here in R Levis told about the Jane Austen. What he told? That she is the rare kind of author. Understood? Se कहउचंदी Jane Austen गोटे rare kind of author whose work defined tradition retroactively, but reading Austen and discerning her influences, one can deduce the importance of novelists of the tradition who came before her. Understood? And she here regarded as the best novelist. Okay. When we will read about the Jane Austen's novel, we will find the importance of novel and who is called as novelist. Understood? Here he has defined that one. Next, we will move on to the George Eliot. Okay, She appreciated Austen. From Austen, she borrowed a sense of irony related to morality. Understood? She appreciated Austen. Understood? George Eliot, George Eliot appreciated Austen. From Austen, she borrowed a sense of irony related to morality. Understood? He has defined that one. Then we will move on to D.H. Lawrence, that he wrote novels that demanded no unfamiliar effort of approach. Okay, here try to remember the important line or the quote, that is novels that demanded a no unfamiliar effort of approach. Okay, and did not settle into one writing style once it got success. Here D.H. Lawrence never depended on a one single familiar approaches of his writing. When the particular novels or the particular writing got success, he will move on to the next way of writing. According to what F. R. Levis is saying about D.H. Lawrence. Understood? The next we will see is the great tradition is important. We will see some of the part of great tradition. The great tradition is work published on 1948. Okay, the great tradition ta amara 1948 रे published हेतला. देखो, the great tradition Levis means Jane Austen, George Eliot, then Henry James, Joseph Conrad as the great novelist. He said that Charles Dickens, Nathaniel Hawthorne, Herman Melville and Edgar Allan Poe are their successor. Okay, एडी सेमाने होचंती तांकर सक्सेसर बोली कि एफ आर लेविस कहउचंती. बाय द एंड ऑफ द एसे, एट द एंड ऑफ द एसे आमे कोन जानिबा, लेविस amended the list of the greatest novelists and included D.H. Lawrence as their successor. एठी एमानकु से ग्रेटेस्ट नोवेलिस्ट बोली रखिले आउ D.H. Lawrence को तांकर सक्सेसर रूप रे डिफाइन करचंदी. He states the importance of novelist placed on a reverent openness before life. Okay, so here we can find he states the importance of novels, where we will in the novels we will find देखो जेन ऑस्टिन्स करो, आई होप किसी भी नॉवेल्स तो मैं पढ़ी थी. ओके, जेन ऑस्टिन करो नॉवेल्स जिते आम पढ़ा से कौन जना पड़े जे जेन ऑस्टिन माने गोटे पर्टिकुलर रियल लाइफ सिचुएशंस को लेकिन सी डेस्क्राइब करमतीक इम्पोर्टाट रईटिंग अच्छी प्राइड एंड प्रेजुडिस जोटा कि एग्जाम रे बहुत थर रिपीटेडली आसे तार इम्पोर्टाट लाइन्स. ओके, सो से कौन माने से गोटे फैमिली सिचुएशन फैमिली कंडीशन जमतीक पांचटा झील थे से मैरेज प्रपोजल्स फादर मदर वरीड होते ए सबू जिनसर डेस्क्रिप्शंस आम पाइबा प्राइड एंड प्रेजुडिस रे, जोटा कि रियल लाइफ नॉर्मल लाइफ सिचुएशंस को ही डिस्क्राइब करते हैं. अंडरस्टूड? सो वी विल फाइंड द ओपननेस बिफोर द लाइफ. ओके, ओपननेस बिफोर द लाइफ. And next we will see the important works of Levis, that is D.H. Lawrence, novelist, 1955, which published on 1955. D.H. Lawrence novelist बोली तांकर 1955 रे तांकर writing टा published हेतला. Then Dickens the novelist is published on 1970. 1970 रे Dickens the novelist published हेतला. The Living Principle, English as a Discipline of Thought is published on 1973. 1973 रे published हेतला. Thoughts, Words and Creativity, Art and Thought in Lawrence, which published on 1976. So these are the important works of F. R. Levis. बुझी पारलो, एटा सब थिला F. R. Levis करो important writings, तांकर important opinion regarding novelist, आउ को नॉवेलिस्ट को से बहुत बेसी मात्रा रे इम्पोर्टेंस दउथिले तांकर राइटिंग्स रे, आ नॉवेलिस्ट को ग्रेट ट्रेडिशंस रे देखै शो कर novelist super important, greatest novelist super tankar opinions. Okay, then and his life, his work. Understood? So I have told you everything about F R Levis. If you have any kind of doubt, you can ask me or message me also. And sometime I'm unable to pick the calls, but when I'm seeing that your missed calls, I'm calling to them. Okay. I find many students are many candidates are able to understand my videos, and they like that videos, and they have some queries. I'm telling about the solving their problems also. If anyone constantly calling me, if I'm unable to take your call, you can message me also. When I will get that one, or when I will see that one, I can again call you back. Okay, when I will get the free time, I will call you back. Okay, because I am in the work field, at the time I am unable to receive all the calls. Understood? So I hope you understood everything. And if you have any kind of doubt regarding in your studies, or in your solving your problems regarding the studies, you can ask me or message me also. Okay, thank you for the class.